Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. A famous quote once said that the graveyard is the most valuable place on earth because it houses incredible amounts of unrealized potential. I was reminded of this saying over the weekend when the song came on while hanging out at my favorite watering hole.
Oh Lord, I beg you, run away from their judgment day.
I was captivated by this incredible song, its mesmerizing instrumentals, the haunting lyrics, and aching quality in the singer's voice. And immediately, I began to do some digging into that song and the singer who sung it. And what I uncovered is one of the most tragic stories in the history of Jamaican music, and a very dark chapter in the island's troubled chronicles of political violence and the injustice that pervaded that beautiful island in the 1970s. The artist in question was a super gifted singer and songwriter trying to make a way for himself in the super competitive music business that got caught up in a web of intrigue and terrible plots by top agents of the government and was taken out before his time. An incident that shocked that country to its core and was one of the catalysts for the public backlash that inspired the now legendary One Love Peace concert a few months later. Let's take a look at the tragic fate of Glenroy Richards and the infamous Greenbay massacre. In 1978, Jamaica was in the throes of a terrible political conflict between the JLP and PNP political parties that had since 1975 manifested itself in street battles and terrible casualties as both parties' enforcers waged war and carved Kingston into garrisons, while the PNP enforcers had a vice-like grip on neighborhoods like parts of Trenchtown and Jonestown. The JLP strongmen like Lodi Massop controlled areas like High Holborn and Gold Street communities, popularly known as Southside. Glenroy Richards, aka Jack Glenn, was a well-known face in that community. In his mid to late 20s, he was a renowned footballer and also celebrated as a gifted singer who was well on his way to breaking through as a star. He had recorded some really good songs like Dread in a Babylon,
Every sinner on this earth shall reap what they sow.
Jaja Bring Everything Right in 1974 and 75 respectively, and the amazing song that introduced me to that artist in the first place in 1977's The Wicked Can't Run Away.
Oh Lord, I beg you, run away from their judgment day.
This track was produced by Glenn Brown at Randy Chin's studio, Studio 17, with mixing done by none other than the great King Tubby, who gave it its memorable, haunting edge. That song became a super underground hit in the streets and sound system dances and became like the unofficial anthem in Southside leading up to the Christmas holiday of 1977, rocking every street party and event it was played at. It all seemed to be coming together for Jack Glenn, but unknown to him, the political crisis rocking the entire country would soon collide with his neighborhood. Like most people in Southside in those times, he was a keen supporter and advocate of the JLP party, and though he wasn't an enforcer or a thug, he was known to be a good friend of enforcers like Franklin Chubby Dread Allen, the local don of Southside. Despite the violence being committed by supporters of both parties, top figures in Jamaica's government and the reigning PLP political party was determined to take steps against JLP strongmen using the tools of state in the form of Jamaica's military. They identified Southside as one of the most vibrant hubs and strongholds of the JLP and came up with a plan to take out anyone that they deemed was a threat to the government. Their targets primarily were JLP activists who were widely known as the Southside POW posse. It's not clear till today if they really were, but the authorities had designated them a dangerous street gang, a special unit of military intelligence sent in undercover agents to spread rumors that some big men in the city were looking to hire lots of young men to work as drivers and bodyguards for a nice salary of more than $1,000 a month. That deal, it seemed almost too good to be true, but in what was a period of severe economic hardships made worse by all the violence, about 50 men would jump at the offer. Glenn Richards, who wasn't yet able to earn a steady living as a musician, took the bait of a day job to put food on his table. So on the morning of Thursday the 5th of January 1978, a military ambulance turned up at Southside at 5 o'clock in the morning. From just seeing that army vehicle, many of the men who had been eager a day before to grab the offer all got strange feelings and cold feet, leaving about just 10 men, including Glenroy Richards, who all got in to embark on a journey of no return. They were driven 10 miles to the Greenbay shooting range in St. Catherine and were led out to a section where a group of army snipers had been waiting. They opened fire on the men, and while some managed to escape into the bay where they were rescued by fishing boats, by the time the dust had cleared, 5 men, including Norman Thompson, a former Jamaican national footballer, and Glenroy Richards, were lifeless on the ground. This incident sparked national outrage, but when the Jamaican army released a report that claimed the 5 men were part of a gang that ambushed the soldiers, the whole of Southside erupted in a protest. An official inquiry was held, and it proved beyond doubt that the 5 men had been lured to the shooting range for elimination. It sparked a wave of anger and disappointment in young people, including musicians who would unleash a cultural response, with the likes of Big Youth, who a few weeks later released a protest song named the Greenbay Killing, and Tapazuki, who unleashed a track called Murder. This tragedy also caused Glen's song The Wicked Can't Run Away to become a big hit on the island, but most tellingly, it forced the political party thugs themselves to realize that they were nothing more than expendable tools to be used and dumped by the politicians. It inspired GLP strongman Claudie Massop and his PNP counterpart Bucky Marshall to make peace and call a truce. Along with other dons in the city like Tony Welch and Earl Techlife Wadley, they formed what became known as the Peace Committee, and that initiative grew into the now legendary One Love Peace Concert that took place in April 1978, a music festival that featured the biggest artists in Jamaica at the time, as well as the Prime Minister, his cabinet, and opposition leader Edward Seaga in attendance, all in an attempt to bring peace to that beautiful but troubled island. The high point of that extravaganza was Peter Tosh's epic roasting of Jamaican government officials who were sitting right there in front of him, and Bob Marley famously joining the hands of Michael Manley and Edward Seaga in an iconic display of peace. And as for the crime, in July that year, the 10 soldiers who had slain the Greenbay 5 were charged to court for murder but were acquitted for lack of evidence. Today, Glenroy Richards is remembered for the few wonderful songs that he put out, and as a rising superstar who was cut down before he could achieve his full potential and joined that tragic club of gifted reggae artists and stars like Garnet Silk, Jacob Miller, and Lax D. Castle, who left this world before they could truly give all they had. But such, they say, is life. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.